Hi, welcome back. This is a lesson on finding the volume and identifying it for rectangular prisms. Let's get started. A rectangular prism is a three-dimensional solid shape that is bounded by 6 rectangular sides. That means that all of the faces of our rectangular prism are all rectangles. So if we look, we have this one right here on the end. That's a rectangle. And the other, we have one that's opposite it. And then we have these that are on the sides of it, and they're on the sides and the top and the bottom. So that's a total of 6 rectangular sides. Go ahead and put this information into your flipbook. Okay, if we're talking about volume, we're talking about the total amount of space that is inside of our three-dimensional object, our 3D shape. So that's the area that fills up the solid, okay? And our unit measurement for any rectangular prism is a cubic unit. So when we talk about cubic units, we're talking about how we can take these little cubes. So if I looked and this was a cube shape and I stacked them together and connected them all, I could go across to make the length. I could go forward and back to make the width, and I could make it go really tall, and that would be our height. And if I stacked all of those cubes together, that would help me determine what the volume is of our shape. Go ahead and add this information into your flipbook as well. All right, when we want to figure out the volume of it, there's a special formula that we can follow to find the volume of our rectangular prism. Okay, so we want to multiply the area of the base. And remember, if you remember what area of a shape is, it's length times height, or width times length. They're all the same. So length times height would be the area of our base, and then we're going to multiply that by the height of the prism. Now in this case, it looks a little odd, but actually our bases are the two end shapes, whether it's top and bottom end or side to side end. And on this one, it's this part right here. It's the shaded area. That is our base. Okay, and we have two of those because we have one here and we have one over here, even though we don't see it very well. And so the area of this base, and then we would multiply it by the height, and the height then would be from base to base. So this would be our height in this case. Sometimes it goes straight up and down, sometimes it goes across. All right, let's look to see then how we could find it. So our base would be our area of 4 times 2, and that would be 8. And then we would multiply that times our height, and our height, remember, was 7 over here. So our total volume for this rectangular prism is 56 cubic centimeters. Go ahead and add this information to your flipbook. Excellent. All right, well, let's go ahead and do some more practicing. I'd like for you to practice along with me, even though it's not part of your flipbook. Here we have a rectangular prism, and the dimensions are 3 centimeters by 4 centimeters by 5 centimeters. So first, again, we need to find the volume of the area of our base. So our base is 3 times 5. Remember, we talked about that the base is always going to be our end pieces. So that would be this area right here. And we have another base over here on the back side. Okay, so that would be 3 times 5. And then we want to figure out what the base area is times our height. So we have, here we go, we have 15, which is our base, times the height, and again, that's the distance between our two bases. So that's 4, and that would make 60 centimeters cubed. Okay, excellent. Let's look at another one. Oh, wait. Actually, I wanted to go back and I want to show you one quick thing that might make it easy to think of as well. One way to do it, when I was younger, I always did the shortcut way, which was take my three numbers and multiply them straight together. So you could do 3 times 4 and 4 times 5. There you go. So it really doesn't matter because multiplication is commutative, and that means we'll get our same answer no matter what the order is that we multiply. All right, so let's say we wanted to look at a cube. Now, a cube is also a 3D shape, and it's bounded by 6 congruent square sides. It's also considered a rectangular prism. Again, the volume is the total amount of space that is inside the 3D shape. And this measurement, like all volume measurements, is a cubic unit. Our formula for this unit, for the cube, is to multiply the area of the base by the height. Now, since all of the sides are the same measurement, we can say that a shortcut way would be that volume is equal to side cubed because all the sides are congruent to each other. So side cubed, or we could use the other way, which is like a rectangular prism, base times height. Go ahead and add this information into your flipbook. All right, let's do some examples and let's see if we really understand what we're talking about. So again, all of the sides are congruent. Oh, let me see. I don't have the right information. Here we go. All of our sides now are congruent. And that means, if you remember, congruent means same shape, same size. And in this case, they're all square shape. And that's why they're all congruent. Okay? So our formula, if we notice, we have a side going here. We have a side going from left to right, and then a side going from front to back. So our formula would be side times side times side, or simply s cubed, s to the third power, since we're multiplying it 3 times itself. Let's try an example. Here we have a square, and our hatch marks, if you see our hatch marks right here, those indicate that it's going to be a cube and that all of our sides are the same. And in fact, this time our sides are 5 centimeters. So we have a 5 here, and we have a 5 going up and down, and then we have a 5 going from front to back, which is right there. Okay, so let's see how we can figure this out. Okay, so sides are 5. So the volume, the formula would be 5 to the third power. That's the same thing as 5 times 5 times 5. So the volume for this specific cube would be 125 cubic centimeters. Go ahead and pause the video and copy this into your flipbook. All right, well, let's do one more and then we'll be done. So here we have another cube and we want to find the volume of it. And it says we know that the sides are all 10. So if we use that in our formula, we would know that because it's side cubed, we have the side, which is 10, to the cubed power. So then that would be 10 times 10 times 10. And the volume of this particular cube now is 1,000 cubic centimeters. Easy peasy. All right, very good. Well, on the Your Try page or Your Turn page, I want you to complete the following problems in your notebook. These are not part of your flip book, so I'd like you to do the best that you can by copying the information or drawing it in there and finding the volume of this rectangular prism for number 1 and the volume for this cube for number 2. I will see you next time. We'll answer these questions and any other questions you might have. Talk to you later.